we're doing the shorter category, which is Kefka at Narshe. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see a race from the beginning to when we fight Kefka at Narshe. It's a pretty self-explanatory category. So what we're going to see here first is we're going to go down to the config and mess with the battle speed, message speed, and memory cursor. We're going to leave the cursor at memory, so whenever we go into a battle, it'll stay in the same place. We're going to slow down the battle speed because the battle speed only affects the enemies, and we're going to max out the message speed. So right off the bat, we're going to be hit with some very hot tech. So experience is shared. So when you have more people in a battle, the experience is divvied up between everyone. So what we want to do is, with our good old friend question mark, question mark, question mark, we want her to be the only person in the battle, so she gets all the experience, so we can set up some nice manipulations for later on. And if you notice, both these guys making a quick step to the right here, so to avoid an extra battle that we won't need because it's very time consuming. So once again, what you're seeing here is we're going to go ahead and kill off a couple of enemies, and then we're going to run away with Wedge and Vix. So question mark, question mark, question mark can get all the experience. Funny thing is with this battle, because it's a pincer, it's hard to run away, but you would think killing the guard on the left would be enough, but you also have to kill the Lobo because he has a flag in the game that says you cannot run as long as he is in the fight. So easy peasy, both these guys got the runaway. So going on with the runaway mechanics, there's two conditions that need to be fulfilled for you to be able to run away with a character, because each character can run away individually. You need to have full ATB, and the other thing is you have to have a hidden meter filled as well. So each character has a slightly different, but sometimes the same hidden meter. So what we're going to do here is, in between attacks as well, as you see from Netara, she's also trying to fill that runaway meter while animations are going. Looks like Valdercorn got it good, and so did Netara. So we're looking good for our experience routing so far. So while we're going through this, we'll go through a little bit of the lore here. The Empire is they're being oppressive to the people, and they found out that a thing called an Esper is at Narshe. Well, Narshe is an independent state. They're not including themselves in the war between everyone who's against the Empire and the Empire. So the Empire really doesn't care. So they're gonna run up to Narshe and see if they can get their hands on this Esper. But we're gonna come up to this fun battle, which is Welk. So Welk is actually two things here. They have the shell and the head. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to hit the head with 3 magic tech missiles, and that should kill him. But there's a funny little thing about this fight, because the shell has its own ATB as well, and given a chance, it will actually pull the head away so we can't target it. So what we're going to want to try and do here is, with the weight tricking, which is opening the menu while animations are going on, we pull the ATB, we freeze the ATB so it doesn't move forward. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to hit the shell at a specific point so it will trigger the counterattack and not trigger pulling the head back in. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if we got it on both. It doesn't look like Valdercorn got it. And Netara's looking pretty good right now. Yep, Netara got the quick kill, so Valdercorn's going to be sitting back for a little while waiting for the head to come back up, and then he'll shoot a magic tech missile at it. Give me 1 second, let me go ahead and turn up the audio a little bit. So if anyone out there is having any problems with the stream, like audio or visual wise, please let me know. I'm working through some stuff because I'm also the restreamer here. So going on with the lore a little bit, what we got here is Tara finds the Esper with bigs and hits, or legend hits, and some funky things start happening because Tara is actually kind of special. So the Esper's like, yo, you two, get out of here. I need to talk to my girl. So now we're going to go through a little bit more lore here. It turns out our girl, question mark, has amnesia, and she was being controlled by the Empire with these slave crowns. Oh no! So she's gonna move along and see if she can go ahead and get herself set back up. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna see if I can sync up the streams a little bit. There we go. So Narshe finds out, hey, she's an officer of the Empire, and we're gonna need her back as not to bring down the wrath of the Empire on Narshe, seeing that they're independent and neutral for the war that is going on right now. Give me 1 second here, guys. So, I hope everyone can hear me okay now. So, moving on, now that our girl T, also known as Tara, is on the lam, she's gonna try and escape from Narshe right now because it's no good to be turned back over to the Empire with the slave crown on. So here what we have, Netara is actually on a step route right now. She's going to get a very specific encounter so as to get our girl T to level 6 before moving on to the next section. So subsequent people who join our party will be at a correct level. What we want here is level 6. So she's going to fight a couple of battles and then trigger one more encounter before triggering the next cutscene. So, a couple of fires here and there, and these guys go down really easily. Good old intro enemies. Okay, good. If you guys have any problems, please just let me know and I will try my best to fix it. I want to try and bring the best quality stream for the Kefka at Narshe. Thank you very much, Holy Smith. So, Netara is triggering her extra fight right here while Valdercorn is hot on her tail. So she's going to trigger this cutscene right here. And unfortunately, she's going to find herself cornered, and oh no, she fell down a hole. So she's going to find herself unconscious here, and because she has a case of amnesia, memories are going to start flooding back a little bit, and this is at the point where they put the slave crown on her. So, a little bit of lore going on. So, turns out while she had the crown on, they made her do some questionable things. So, we really don't want her to go back to the Empire because a lot of bad things may happen. That's better. There we go. That should be good. So, slave crown on, going on through some memories, finding out that the Empire is they're trying real hard to take over the world. You know, it's rough. So, but luckily for us, we have some very daring and strong-willed companions that we'll find going on. So, enter everyone's favorite treasure hunter. If anyone says he's not a treasure hunter, I have some words for you. But this is our boy Locke, which we will go ahead and name down to L. So, going over that, this game actually has text boxes that scroll. So, the less characters that not a player, but a character has, less overall characters, the faster the text box will actually be able to scroll through. So, our friend here at Narshe, who saved T, wants to go ahead and save her, so he called in Locke, or our buddy L here, to go ahead and try and pick her up and make sure that she doesn't fall into the wrong hands. So, I'm gonna pick her up and get her out of here. No easy peasy, lemon squeezing, no problems. But unfortunately, things are never that easy. So we're going to go ahead and enter one of the unique encounters in the game. So poor Locke, he's going to have to fight all these guys by himself. Of course not, because we got Moogles on our side here. Everything works out for the good guys, right? So we're going to go into a thing called Protect X Character. In this case, it's going to be T. We're going to go ahead and skip this tutorial right here. And what we would usually do here is we would set up our characters to defend as these guys come forward. But we have funny tech for that. So as it turns out, if you walk past, you can walk past these guys while their leg is up and not trigger their encounter, which is what we're going to do. And then the condition to actually complete this section is actually beat the last boss at the bottom. So everyone's going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to go into our Moogle fight right here. So we want to use Mog, Cuckoo, Kutan, and Kupan because they are pretty strong, and there's a funny little, how you say, mechanic in the game where we can go ahead and remove Mog's weapon and shield if we have time to go ahead and do that. And Netara's going to go ahead and pick up both of those, and then we're going to take down the Marshal. So the fight ideally will go Mog will attack the Marshal, Kupan will attack the Marshal, Cuckoo and Kutan will attack the wolves, and then Mog and Kupan will attack the Marshal again. Very good from Netara. So he's going to pick up the Mithril Pike on Valdercorn's battle, and he didn't manage to get the shield, but that's alright. The shield is, we pick it up for safety reasons. So we're going to go ahead and beat a hasty retreat out of Narshe while we have a chance here. So going over the characters, we didn't actually get to see Locke fight, but each character actually has a unique battle mechanic. So in Tara's case right now, she can use magic, and Locke can use some command named Treasure Hunt, or it depends on what circles you go in, but it's actually called Steal. So he's going to find out here that she has amnesia and not really know what is going on, but he knows that she can cast magic, so he's going to take her down to Figaro to go meet the king there. So this is going to be our first time in the overworld. So the overworld's a little funny thing. So Netara being on the step route, she is going to get certain encounters in certain places, but on the overworld there are tiles, as individual blocks that we can walk over that will not push our step encounter forward, and we will not get encounters on there. And Netara getting a nice preemptive here on the Leafer. We're going to want to avoid the encounter in the forest as well. So looks like Valdercorn is just going to take it real quick and kill the Leafer. Netara's going to go ahead and beat a hasty retreat, and if we're on, I don't believe Valder is on a step route right now, but Netara will get 2 encounters and then get down to Figaro. So welcome to the Castle of Figaro. Valdercorn will be here momentarily, but we're going to go ahead and talk to the king and see what he can do for Terra and Locke here. So, another fun mechanic in the game is when you walk up to NPCs and treasure chests, if you're holding A, you will talk to NPCs at the very first available opportunity. So you know, no need to mash there. So, fun little thing about this game, and welcome to Figaro's King B, as Netara likes to refer to him as. We will get into that in a little bit. But, so, text boxes work in 3 different ways. There's hold A during battle text boxes and it will automatically proceed. There's mash through, and then there's talking to NPCs and treasure chests where you just hold A as well and you'll talk to it on the first frame. So our buddy E here, or B as Netara would like to refer to him as, is saying that, yeah, I'm a little bit of a ladies' man, and your magic is kind of a secondary thing. So we're going to go ahead and walk and get some more backstory through this. He wants us to go ahead and explore the castle, but we only have to speak to one person to proceed and move forward with the story. Also note, he's a master of machinery. That is a very important note. We'll have to stick a pin in that for later. So, luckily, walking through Figaro, there's no real issue or problem with the step routing if you're off your steps. We're going to go ahead and talk to the matron here, and she's going to give us a little bit of backstory on E's twin brother. So, this is around the time when E and the younger brother's father is sick and he is getting ready to pass away. So, just a little bit of extra backstory here. He traded the throne for his own freedom. Our buddy S here, and we'll get to him a little bit later. That was just a little bit of flashback. So, got our story out of the way, and we're going to go back and talk to E. Yeah, we don't have to really worry about our step routing too much because it doesn't move forward while we're in certain cities and castles and towns. So go ahead and talk to E, ask if he likes the castle, and then we're gonna run into, well, the namesake of our tournament and one of the main bad guys, not the main bad guy for those who may or may not have played this game at some point, but this is Kefka. A little spoiled, got sand on his boots, got to get these grunts to go ahead and clean them off here, and he's going to go ahead and look for our girl Terra with the most iconic laugh, outside of Titus, and he's going to go ahead and see if our girl T is here because he is from the Empire. Let's see if Netara can get a little thing that keeps us amused during the game. A little bit of a face-off. Face-off? Yes, so because she managed to talk to the soldiers very quickly and then talk to Kefka, the soldiers are going to stay in place. And this is the small things we do to amuse ourselves during the runs. So they have a little face-off there. And they will stay that way until they move out of the way. So Edgar just tells them, yeah, there's no tea here. I don't know what you're talking about. And Kefka's like, all right, I believe you, and then heads out. So T is going to be safe for a little bit, and, everything's all right. What could possibly go wrong? Just going to go ahead and show her to her room. Valdercorn coming up to the Kefka talk right now. Let's see if he can get the... Nope. Regular old soldiers standing at attention. So it's alright. It's just a small thing that we just do to amuse ourselves. So T is going to go over and talk to Locke before, moving on. And just going to say, we want you to do what you think is right. So, because the Empire was using it. So. Little moral dilemma for our girl T. So we're going to rest tonight, and then we'll figure out our next move in the morning. Oh, wait a second. Dramatic music. E's going to wake up, or B, as Netara likes to refer to him as, is going to find out, oh no, something bad is happening. The castle is on fire. Our stone mechanical castle is on fire. And who else but Kefka would be doing it? So, luckily for us, we don't actually have to speak to him. We can just talk to this soldier and move forward with the story. And, well, we'll put out the fire. We're in the middle of the desert, but I'm sure we have plenty of water, right? Nope. Time to jump on the chocobos and get out of here. It's alright. The castle's made of stone, right? So we're just going to beat a hasty retreat, and our boys at the castle will be able to take care of everything. So, funny story. Remember how I mentioned that E was a master engineer? Yeah. They managed to design the castle to be able to, dive under sand. So, we'll put out the flames at the same time, and we'll get out of here. Castle saved. So, Kefka's not going to like that, so he's going to send his Magitech armors to go ahead and deal with them. So, let's go ahead and cover E's special command, which is tools. So he comes with a good old auto crossbow, which will do a nice amount of damage. It's going to be one of our major damage sources here. And what we're going to want to not do is use magic, because that will trigger a long, lengthy, and unneeded cutscene. So what we're going to do is we're going to auto crossbow, and for safety, steal if we want to go ahead and pick up an extra tonic. But 2 auto crossbows, and both the Magitech armors are down. So. Another thing about tools while we're on Egger. The auto crossbow does damage, but it doesn't care about being in front and back row if you've actually played a Final Fantasy. If you're in the front row, you do more damage and take more damage, and if you're in a back row, you do less damage but take less damage. In this case, because it's a back attack, all our characters are currently in the back row, so we want to do as much damage as possible, so we're going to just go ahead and auto crossbow both of them in Valdercorn's stream without any real loss of damage. So, on the Netara side here, we're going to go through another cutscene, and they're going to go over and say, yeah, we're part of the Returners, which is an anti-Empire syndicate, and they're going to want Terra to meet their mentor or their leader, so we can figure out what we can do about the Empire and their tyrannical ways. So, we're just going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to jump on our Chocobo, and we're going to head towards South Figaro. So, we're going to go ahead and go through this cave. Luckily, through this cave, we have a little health spot, because now we're going to go ahead and fight these guys, because we're going to do some more experience manipulation so we can get our guys to 10, 9, and 8. And in case anyone hasn't seen, Netara has VLT on the screen if anyone is hungry. So we're going to want E or B at level 10, Locke or L at level 9, and T, Terra, at level 8. So we can get Sabin at a special level, because when we recruit characters, they are based on our party's current average level. So when Sabin joins, he will actually be at a specific level, which will make the game a little bit safer and easier for us. Well, not a little bit, a lot safer and easier for us. So Netara is going to have these easy encounters, as will Valdercorn, because auto crossbow is great. It's just going to do a lot of damage to these guys, and it should kill all these guys in one hit. The only thing that it might not kill in one hit is the Blearies, but we have L and T to go ahead and back that up. So, back to the world map here. We're going to walk in a very specific way for Netara to get less encounters, because there are tons of non-encounter spaces here. And we're going to go ahead and walk to the relic shop and pick up some very valuable equipment that we will need for the rest of the run, which will be sprint shoes, which will, while we're in certain areas, we're going to be able to move at very high speeds. Luckily, we only need one pair of sprint shoes for the party, so we're going to go ahead and equip that on T, and then we're off at the speed of sound. Go ahead and grab this Chocobo from the guy who asks us if we want to know, and tells us anyway whether we like it or not. So, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Chocobo and head over to Mount Colts. So, Mount Colts. This place is a little bit dangerous. Well, dangerous in the way that the enemies are stronger, and our buddy Edgar's auto crossbow currently won't one-shot every mob that we fight. So we're going to go ahead and take a small detour in a second here to go pick up a very handy relic. That relic will be the Atlas armlet, which will increase the strength of the person who wears it. So we're going to go ahead and grab that for our buddy E here, and it will let him go ahead and do the damage necessary to go ahead and clear out a bunch of these mobs. So, Netara is being a little bit more careful with her steps here, because the step route actually does matter here a little bit. Good preemptive here. We don't really want to fight the brawlers. We can one-shot the brawlers, but unfortunately the brawlers don't give too much experience in gold, so we kind of want to avoid them. The encounter we want is right here, which is going to be the Tusker and the Cypresses. So we're going to get 3 encounters of this in Netara's step route. So what we're going to want to do is fire the Tusker and then auto crossbow everything. And if we're lucky, we only need Locke to run away from one of these fights. So Edgar and Tara can get a majority of the experience. Not a big deal, we still have 2 more tries for that. So going back to our runaway meter, Locke's invisible runaway meter is actually the shortest of all of the characters. So his is the shortest, followed by, in no specific order, just about every other character, and then there's a few characters that have longer runaway meters. Netara going ahead and trying to get some equipment management in there, because we were going to want to take that mithril pike that we took off Mog earlier and equip that on our buddy Edgar, and then equip his sword on our buddy Locke here. Yep. Locke got out of there, so all the experience will go to T and Edgar. Tara and Edgar. T and Edgar. Yep, go ahead and equip that mithril blade on Locke, and then auto crossbow these enemies, and there they go. So, for anyone who doesn't know, our friend Netara is an advocate of the safety save. So, because this run could go very, very sideways very quickly if we're not too careful here. So she's going to go ahead and take the safety save there. It will put her off her step route a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. She'll be able to get the required levels before she gets to the boss here. Valdercorn not too far behind here. Getting a lucky preemptive, which is very nice as well. Yeah, at this point, for the lore, we're going to go ahead and try and get over to the Returner's base, so they're still on their way to beat Ben. Just going to have to take a little bit of a route here. Ooh, a very unfortunate pincer attack from Valdercorn's side. Netara running into a couple of these not so nice enemies. They have the ability to use Bane Touch, which will poison one of the party members, which is not too nice because every step we take will do some damage. They'll take damage overall, and it makes the screen look funny too. So, want to avoid that as much as we can. For anyone who is paying attention, there is a shadow running around in Mount Colts, and you know, just trying to keep an eye on us. I don't know who that could be. Does anyone know who that could be? Kind of looks like our buddy S, but nope, not our buddy S. It's this guy named Vargas who's been keeping an eye on us, and he's really just kind of a bully, to be honest. Not really sure why he's fighting us, but that's alright. We'll take him and his Ipoos out. His wonderful bears, the bears from the Apple store. Not many people know this, but Final Fantasy VI endorsed by Apple. So, what we're going to want to do here is we're going to cast Fire with Terra, Auto Crossbow with Edgar, change roles with Locke, and then fire the last guy. And then after that, all we have to do is attack, Auto Crossbow, and fire Vargas, and this will be a pretty prescriptive fight. An additional benefit for actually having the memory cursor on at this point is you can just hold A and it will remember the last command that you put in. So, Vargas is done playing around, and who's that? It's our buddy and my favorite character, Sabin. So, Sabin is going to be a very intricate and important part of this run because he has the special command called Blitz, which if you put in a certain amount, or not certain amount, a specific set of commands, he will do a specific move, which is very, very strong. In this case, what we're going to want to do against Vargas is go down to Blitz and then push left, right, left, A, which will use Pummel. But for anyone who may not know, if you press down too fast and press A as fast coming down from the fight, the Blitz will actually register your down as the first command. So we want to just take it easy there. Netara gets it off, easy peasy. And that's the end of Vargas. Netara's doing very well right now. She just gold split her Vargas split. But Valdercorn is hot on her tail right now, unfortunately getting poisoned. So what what Valdercorn is going to need to do is go ahead and go into the menu and heal our buddy Edgar with Terra, because she has Antidote. While I have a chance here, I highly recommend you guys. That is not the right command. There we go. I highly recommend that you guys follow both our racers here. We will see more of them throughout the tournament, as this is only the first round of Kefka at Narshe. With Vargas down, we're going to go ahead and walk the rest of the way to the Returner's base here. Go ahead and Netara's going to go ahead and just walk in a very specific path here, so to not trigger as many encounters. It looks like Valdercorn has a little bit of an issue, so he's going to try and fight a couple extra fights here in order to get the right level, so Sabin will join at the right level. Sabin, if he joins at the right level, will know the ability Aura Bolt as well, which is a very strong attack that we will be using in our next boss fight, as a matter of fact. So, here we are at the Returner's base. No troll NPC to softlock Netara. Very good. If that NPC walks between you and the guard in front of you and then walks up the stairs, there's nothing you can do. You will just softlock, which is very, very unfortunate. So, here's our buddy Ben, and he's gonna grumble and say some stuff about hope and Pandora's box, and we're gonna need T to become our hope and stuff like that. But Bannon is just a special character that way. So he's gonna say he's a little tired, and he's gonna take a nap. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go ahead and raid the Returner's hideout. We're gonna pick up some very specific items and then talk to our party members to proceed with the story. So what we're gonna pick up here is we're gonna pick up 2 Phoenix Downs, a True Knight relic, an Air Lancet, and a Antidote. I'm not sure if these guys will be picking up anything else, but that is the typical stuff that we will go ahead and pick up here. The Phoenix Downs will be used a little bit later in the run, as will the True Knight relic, and the Antidote is actually for safety for later on. As the Air Lancet will be used later on in the run as well, so yeah, speedrunners, we pick up what we need. A little trolley NPC for Netara here. Get out of the way, friend. Meanwhile, Valdercorn is on his Vargas fight. I like to say hold A to win. So now we're going to move forward and talk to Bannon. And Bannon's going to ask if we want to be their hope. But we're going to decline him 3 times because it's faster to decline him 3 times. And we get a very wonderful item, the Genji Glove, which will allow us to equip 2 weapons instead of a weapon and a shield. So that will increase our damage by quite a bit, because the Genji Glove, it works kind of differently than intended, because it lets you do full damage, as it is glitched, with both weapons instead of individually between both weapons. So it does more damage overall. But if we were to say yes to Bannon, we would have gotten the Gauntlet, which is supposed to increase our damage. But that relic is also glitched, and we don't do any real extra damage here. But moving on with the story here, South Figaro, the Empire moved in on them, so we're going to have to beat a hasty retreat. So Locke is going to stay behind and try and slow them down, and we're going to pick up Bannon into our party. And for anyone who's played this game before, we know Bannon he's not the best character to have. He's not very strong. He has the ability called Health, which is nice, but it would help if he didn't end up face up half the time, because he only has 120 health, and it's not very strong. And an extra problem with that is, if he dies, we get game over immediately. So Natara's going to go ahead and do her River Manip here. She's going to go ahead and equip the Sprint Shoes on Sabin, the Genji Glove on our buddy Edgar here. It will optimize him. Yep. And then she's going to save, and then reset one more time. And this will manipulate the river, so we only get the 2 mandatory encounters instead of any extra encounters on the river. So we're going to come out of here, and we're going to wait for this NPC that's in the room with us to walk a very specific way. Gimmick Soldiers, thank you very much for the host. And thanks for all the follows, guys. So, we get a full heal here, which is pretty nice as well. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to see if we can get ourselves over to Narshe real quick. So, of the 2 encounters here, Netara is going to run away from the first one. And then she's going to fight the second one, as to get Edgar up to a certain level, which will be level 11, so he will do some more damage. So back to the original thing here, we're going to want to go left here, so just hold down and press A. And then him being level 11 will do extra damage, and these guys in the party are going to need to run, so they're going to need full ATB and a full run meter as well. So this shouldn't be too much of an issue. Very good, and then Edgar's just going to auto-cross bow these enemies one more time. Yep, and then he's going to jump up to level 11, which is going to be very helpful. So, Netara should not be getting any more encounters on the river, while Valdercorn is finishing up the little cutscene here, and he's going to be picking up his items. So, the river can be very treacherous, because if we're not on a step route, we get random encounters, and a lot of these guys can decide to jump on Banning and then just kill him, which will end our run. But unfortunately for Netara, she's on very good step routing right now, and got the river manip. And the other thing is, while we're going through the river, we're not able to open the menu, so if we get away from a battle and Bannon's at low health, we can't go into the menu to actually heal. So she's going to go ahead and set up Edgar now, because now we're not going to use auto crossbow as much, because he has the Genji glove and two weapons. So he's going to be able to do more damage, so we're going to go ahead and move him to the front row. And then here we're going to fight our next boss, the good old Ultros. So this fight is very much like the Weld fight, so we're going to want to go ahead and do a little bit of weight tricking and try and trigger a counterattack over a regular attack he may do. So we're going to attack with Edgar, or a bolt with Sabin. So, and then we're going to attack with Edgar and then weight trick his attacks and then cast fire, which will trigger him to use a counterattack instead of Tasty Morsel, who would just attack Terra. So, making the fight a little bit less threatening. Yep, and then we're going to weight trick this Aura Bolt here as to not move anyone's ATBs up, and then we're going to attack. Yep, and then pretty prescriptive from here. We're going to attack with everyone, and then Aura Bolt with Sabin. Easy peasy. That was a very good fight from Netara. Valdercorn finishing up his cutscenes here, and he'll be on the river in a little bit, picking up the Genji glove. So, Buddy Sabin here, a little bit too zealous. So he's going to go down there and teach Ultros a thing or two. Or not. So, Sabin's going to end up separated from the party. Locke is separated from the party. And here we're going to have our pick a scenario. So we're going to want to pick up the Sabin scenario first, because there's a lot of things we can pick up from that scenario that will help us with the other scenario. So Sabin by himself, going to try and get himself over to Narshe. So here we're going to meet our next character, Shadow. Shadow is an optional character. We can actually move on without him, but Sabin's scenario can be kind of perilous, to say the least. So we're going to pick him up for safety, and he actually has a couple of things that are very nice and will make our next set of encounters actually, it's going to be very good. There we go. Tara picks him up and is going to walk down towards the Imperial camp, because there's an Imperial camp between Sabin and Narshe right now, so gonna have to try and go through it. Yep. So, for those who are paying attention right now, Shadow, his special command is the throw command, and he also has a status effect which is Interceptor, which Interceptor will take attacks for him, reduce damage, and sometimes trigger a very strong counter attack as well. So, at times when we're running away, we don't want to see Interceptor, but it's not too bad. So, here we are through the cutscene heavy portion of the run right now. So, Netara is going to go ahead and mash A. We can go ahead and check in on our buddy Valdercorn over here. looking like he's getting ready to fight the Ultras. For those of us who played FFBE, also known as the Octopus Teacher. Yeah, Valdercorn not being on a step route, this river can be kind of an issue. So, back to the lore, it seems like the Empire is going to attack Doma, because Doma is also against the Empire's tyrannical rule. So this is why there's an Empire camp here. So we're going to go ahead and let's see how this unfolds. It looks like Doma's in a bit of trouble here. Oh, who's that? Who's that man? Mustache Man. For anyone who has seen GDQs and our buddy Mr. MV, he likes to sing that, and that's a little testament to him. But this is our buddy Cyan here. Cyan is a very old soldier for the Kingdom of Doma, and he's very strong. So we're going to go ahead and try and take out the general here, and maybe this will make the Empire run away. But before that, we're going to make the battle speed 1 and equip the sprint shoes. So Cyan's special command here is Sword Tech, which after charging for X amount of time, he could use currently one of two abilities. One being Dispatch, and the second one being Retort, which lets him counterattack. So we're going to go ahead and charge up Retort and one-shot this guy. The reason why we changed to battle speed 1 for this one is we want that guy to attack as soon as possible so we can just one-shot him. As a reminder that battle speed only affects enemies. So, back to our buddy Shadow and Sabin over here, we're going to go ahead and trigger this scene. And there's our good friend General Leo. Good guy General Leo. Could be our friend if he wasn't with the enemy. But looks like Valdercorn managed to get through the octopus fight very well. Yep. So General Leo's here trying to command the troops so to not take as many casualties as one should think one would get through the war. Soldier ready to give up his life. But General Leo says no. But Kefka has other plans. But General Leo got called back to the Empire and he's putting his foot down and telling Kefka not to have any shady business going on over there. So Kefka is going to go ahead and pick up some nasty poison and go ahead and pour it into the river. But luckily, our buddy Shadow and Sabin here will, they're sure to thwart them. So, if anyone has noticed, Netara didn't change back to battle speed. That's because Kefka in these fights is actually counted as a party member, so the battle speed won't actually affect him. Valdercorn going ahead and removing all the characters from Shadow. So, entering from the left side over there, making things kind of awkward on the leaving. So, luckily for us back on Netara's streak, or well, not luckily for Netara, all we have to do is attack Kefka once, and that will trigger this. And what Netara is going to do now is she's going to take a menu. Quexo, thanks for the host. RPG Limit Break, thank you for the host. Welcome everyone to Kefka at Narshe. We are in the middle of a race between Netara and Valdercorn. We're about halfway through at this point. So Netara went ahead and changed back the battle speed to 6 and removed all the Shadow's equipment and then equipped it on Sabin except for the Imperial. So we do that because that equipment will serve Sabin a little bit more than it will serve Shadow. We give him a little bit more speed, a little bit more defense, and so on and so forth. So this fight here will be 2 attacks. We're going to take our Air Lancet that we picked up from the Returner's base and chuck it at the Templar. Easy peasy lemon squeezing. Shakes pom-poms indeed. Unfortunately, our boys couldn't stop our buddy Kefka here, and he's going to make a river of poison to shift the battle in their direction. But unfortunately, that's going to be some bad Kool-Aid for Doma, because it's going to be pretty bad for everyone, because everyone's going to be drinking the Kool-Aid because it's Kool-Aid. Who wouldn't want to drink Kool-Aid? Steve Rogers, currently Netara is ahead, but there is plenty of more race left. Netara is having a very good run right now. She had a very wonderful Ultros and a good Vargas fight as well. For that matter, our buddy Valdercorn had a very good Ultros fight as well. He golded that split. Thank you very much. Yes, the Kool-Aid is murder flavored. It's that grape stuff or that purple stuff in the Sunny D commercials. It's kind of weird, but unfortunately everyone was drinking it. So if anyone learns anything from this, it's don't drink the purple Kool-Aid. So we got to see if there's any survivors left in the castle. So let's see who we can find here. Oh no! Little did we know, Cyan actually had a wife and a child, and they drank the Kool-Aid. No, 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 not grape flavored, purple flavored. Purple drink is not good for you, friends. Not good for you at all. So, Cyan's going to go in a little bit of a rage here, and he's going to go attack the Imperial camp. So, what better to do for our boys at this point is but to try and assist our buddy Cyan here. So, these fights, as weird as they are, we don't actually get control of Cyan. So, we're going to want him to just attack here, and then we're going to want to just attack the grunts, because our boys are strong enough to actually kill them off in one hit without any special attacks. We're going to want Cyan to go ahead and use regular attacks instead of dispatch, but look, it's looking pretty good right now. We're going to go ahead and fight this next fight. Natara's going to take a second here to heal up Shadow. She doesn't want him biting the dust just yet. What'd I tell you about drinking the purple Kool-Aid? Let that be a lesson to you, friend. So, our third fight here is going to be a little bit more luck-based, because we're going to want Cyan to actually attack the grunts with a regular attack. That way we can actually one-round this fight. If he doesn't, we're going to have to just change the fight around a little bit. A little bit unfortunate here. And Shadow biting the dust here as well. Luckily, we got the Oral Bolt off on the Cadet, so what we can do here is we can just go ahead and clean up the fight. But another reason why we take Shadow, because a lot of that damage might have just gone on to Sabin, who, if we look at Sabin, he's not perfectly healthy himself. Meanwhile, Vanny going ahead and cleaning up his Kefka fights here. Quote-unquote Kefka fights. But now that we've listened to the voice of reason, we're going to go ahead and jump in these Magic Tech armors and see if we can bust out of this camp. So, Valder going ahead and changing up his equipment and his battle speed. So, let's see how he does with the Templar fight, while Netara goes ahead and see if she can escape from the Imperial camp here. So, luckily for Netara, all she has to do is go ahead and just use Fire Beam to take out all of these enemies. And while she's doing that, she's going to go ahead and do some inventory management. So she's going to move stuff that she doesn't really want from the top to the bottom, and then put the more important stuff to the top. These fights are going to take a little bit longer because Shadow actually is taking a nap on the Magitech armor, which is actually pretty impressive. And for anyone who wants more purple stuff is back in the river in Valdercorn's stream. Natara's going to play this really safe, and she's going to go ahead and heal up Sabin, because we want Sabin alive. And luckily, Heal Force is one of those things that doesn't take any MP or anything like that, so... Here we go, we're going to go ahead and heal up our buddy C here, and then we're going to try and move on to our next fight. This will be the third and final fight at the camp. Go ahead and move the Phoenix down that we picked up from the Returners camp to the top, move Potion, and then get those tonics out of the way. The tonics are not very helpful. This will give Vanny, not Vanny, Vanny, why you put your name in my head? This will put Valdercorn, both V's, it will give him a chance to catch up a little bit, so... So, Natara's going to go ahead and leave the camp now, and she's going to try and get away from these Empire soldiers attacking her. So she's going to run into this forest here, take another safety save. Yep. And we're going to go ahead and go through the Phantom Forest here. The Phantom Forest can be a little bit of a nasty place because there's a lot of enemies that can cast fire and pincer attacks and slow stops, so we're going to want to try and get away from as many of these enemies as possible. But luckily, our buddy Shadow's back up from taking a drink from the water. Oh, I'm sorry that there was no spooky warning, but if you would like an additional spooky warning, there is going to be a extra spooky place coming up in a second here, so you might want to shield your eyes. Meanwhile, in Valdercorn's stream, he's going to go ahead and finish up his gauntlet of fights at the camp. He's looking pretty good right now. Shadow's a little low on health, but what's this? We found a train. The train will surely take us out of here. Our buddy Sabin is saying, listen, we got to get out of here. It's either we fight the soldiers or we get on the train. What could be the worst possible thing that happens on the train? But little do we know, this train will actually take us to the other side. So, we don't want to be on this train anymore. So what we're going to go ahead and do is try and get to the front of the train and try and stop it. You know, Sabin's got stuff to do here, so we gotta get out of here. So, a little unfortunate part of the train, and being on a step route, we can't really walk around some of these ghosts, and they're a little bit of a nuisance. So we're just gonna hope for the best and that they won't be blocking us too much. Good cleanup from Valdercorn over here. Not bad NPC ghost here. She's going to go ahead and take a couple extra steps here to trigger an encounter so she doesn't get encounters outside the train. Encounters outside the train they could be a little bit more dangerous than some of the encounters inside the train. Unfortunately, picking up a pincer attack here, so giving Valder a little bit more time to catch up. So, good cleanup from Netara there. Couple more ghost fights here, so as you see, fire does quite a bit of damage when it's single targeted and quite a bit of damage when it's multi-targeted, so we don't want to see these ghosts attacking too much. Just remember, guys, spooky warning, no escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, no escape. But luckily, they didn't count on us being able to run to the top of the training car. But all that training that Sabin did is going to pay off here because he's going to ninja his way across. Good jump. Excellent jump. Stick the landing. Perfect. So, did I mention the part about no escape? The ghosts are still chasing us, so we're going to go ahead and let's see if we can detach this train car so they'll stop chasing us. So, multi-purpose switch. Going to go ahead and switch and open the door here, and then keep on working our way towards the front. Meanwhile, the camp is over for Valder, and he will be entering the forest pretty soon here. So, runaway mechanics. Remember how I mentioned that everyone has their own invisible meter that they need to fill? Yeah, Cyan's meter is a little bit more than other people's, which makes him kind of annoying to run with. So, we rather him not be dead here because it makes it a little bit more dangerous, but if he was, then it's kind of a coin toss if it's up in it, if it's faster or not. And as we see here, Netara getting a encounter outside and the bomb actually getting a chance to cast Blaze there, which does quite a bit of damage, but she gets away alright, and she's going to take a little pit stop here and pick up the earring. So, funny story about the Blitz mechanic. So, it's not based off physical damage, is actually based off magical damage. And luckily for us, we could pick up earrings, which increases magical damage, thus increasing Sabin's damage. Ooh, another Blaze. That's a little rough. Little rough. Natara's going to go ahead and use those tonics here. So, we picked up the earrings, and we don't really want to walk inside any of these train cars here, as Valder actually enters the train to the other side now. Oh, good. Managed to get away from there. He had a very clean forest walk. So we're going to go ahead and flip these switches, and then flip the switch here at the train, and this should stop it. Or so we thought. The train is sentient. So, slowing down his progress, he's gotta fight the train. So, here comes the Evil 2, which is a very unfortunate attack, which could confuse our members, but it's alright, because here comes the validation suplex from Netara. Little do you know, our buddy Sabin is the strongest human being. He can suplex trains. Gotta go fast. So, Netara's run is currently validated in some people's minds, but we really don't need to suplex the train. I don't know if we'll see one out of Valder because he's a little behind, but we appreciate the thought, Netara. So, put that train in its place. Also, the train's undead, so we throw a Phoenix down on it, and it ends the fight immediately. Forgot to mention that little part. I completely forgot that we were actually fighting a boss there. So, fun note, undead creatures and enemies, they don't like being cured, and they don't like Phoenix Downs, which raises the dead. So we made the train alive again? Sure, we'll run with that logic. Unfortunately, remember how our buddy Cyan's family passed away? Yeah, this train's taking him away, so a little bit of an unfortunate sad scene here while we get another look at Sabin doing his ninja run across the train cars again. So we're going to go ahead and go through this morning scene right here. So this scene right here, it takes a certain amount of time to pass because we got to let our buddy Saiyan go ahead and mourn his family. So we're going to take this time to do some equipment, some inventory management. We're going to equip some relics and set up for our next sets of fights here. So we're going to go ahead and remove the sprint shoes off Sabin, equip him with the True Knight and the True Knight and the earring that we had picked up. And once we get here, we're going to go ahead and jump down the waterfall. So remember how I told you that the equipment on Shadow was better served on Sabin? Well, ninjas don't like the waterfall too much, so he's going to go ahead and say, yeah, I've done my job, so I'm out of here. So Netara's going to take some time here. She's going to remove all the equipment from Cyan and equip him with his sword to set up for a funny little glitch on the waterfall. So this waterfall is a gauntlet of enemies, and you keep fighting enemies until a certain amount of time has passed, and then you fight a boss. But there's a funny little thing about the sword tech and Saiyan in general. So when he is killed and then revived during a fight, and you retort with him, retort does some funny things. Instead of countering enemy attacks, it will counter all attacks, whether it comes from enemies or it comes from you. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kill him off, set one to him, and then revive him, and then set up retort. So funny thing about the waterfall fights are, if you do a magical attack and a physical attack to an enemy, it will actually skip all the transition, thus ending the fights altogether because the game gets confused. So we're going to set up retort, which is a magical attack, and then we're going to try and suplex the piranha, which is a physical attack. The suplex will miss, then retort will hit, which is a magical attack, magical and physical, and fight. Oh, we got another evil toot coming here on Valdercorn's stream. We got a Kappa. Let me get my Kappas in the chat while he throws the Phoenix Downs. Phoenix down on the train. So. Thank you guys very much for the Kappas. Poexel, is that a Russian Kappa? I appreciate your effort, friend. So, here comes our next character, our buddy Gao. He picked us up from the river, trying to make sure we're okay, so on and so forth. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm going to assume that it's Russian. So, here we are on the Veld. Ah, Greek. Okay. It is Greek. Thank you very much for clarifying. So, the Veld's a very special place. It actually holds enemies that we have fought throughout the entirety of the game. So, remember those brawlers we fought? Yeah, we're going to fight those guys. Remember that pincer attack with the Lobo and the two soldiers? Yeah, we're going to get that fight too. So... what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to try and get out of here and get over to a city that will take us over to Narshe. But unfortunately, we don't really have an easy way of doing that. So we're going to go ahead and, if anyone remembers, we're going to have a little story about a boy here. He lives on the Veld. He's very strong, but unfortunately, he's a wild child. So we will actually want to pick him up to move the story along. So we're going to run over to this town and pick up some dried meat to feed our buddy Gao. If we're lucky. It is a random chance of Gao actually showing up. And there are certain encounters that he won't show up at. Some of which are pincer attacks and very specific enemy formations. So, Netara picking up the dried meat here. Well, Valdercorn is doing his morning equipment. So, based on the step route, she should have one ghost here. Excellent. And a preemptive. Very nice. So, if we're lucky, Gao will actually show up here. And there he is. First time Gao, every time. So, here we're going to go ahead and give him the dried meat, and he's going to be like, yummy, good, fantastic. I'm going to join you guys. Lots of story, blah, blah, blah. So, Gao and Sabin are going to dance a little bit, and they're going to go ahead and give an explanation of Gao, because he's a very interesting character. But meanwhile, Vander's over at the waterfall, so let's go ahead and peek in at him and see if he's able to pull off the quote-unquote, well, Psycho Saiyan glitch, I believe is what it is called. Part of this story right now for Gao is that he has a shiny treasure that he wants to share with his friends that have fed him. So we're going to go and see what this shiny is and see if it can help us get over to a town where we can get over to Narshe. Here we go. We're going to do the sword tech here. And then this is going to be a suplex. Yep. Looks good. And Valdercorn manages to get through A-OK. So, here's an explanation of Gao's ability. So he doesn't actually have the fight command. He actually has rage, which, while on the Velt, he can go ahead and use a command called Leap. Leap will jump into an enemy, and he will learn those enemies' abilities, and then he will be able to use them in other fights. But once you select an enemy to use, he will go into a berserk state and use random attacks from that enemy he learned them from, which is good and bad. But he's going to be used a little bit later on in the run as well. Yes, more Kappas indeed. Let me see your Kappas, friends. If you have more Kappas in you, let me see more. So, Netara should not be getting any more fights. She got past the second bomb fight very nicely. Going to take another safety save here, as the Serpent Trench will be the next place that she goes to, and it could be rather disastrous. Valdercorn taking a safety save as well. He's on the Velt, so he's still on her tail. It's still anybody's race right now. As he is not on a set step route, he doesn't have the encounter manip as Netara does, so we're going to hope for a little bit of good RNG for him. So if you guys have some bless RNG, that would be great for our buddy Valder. So, his shiny ends up being a helmet that lets them breathe underwater. They only show one, but I'm going to assume that they have three, and they're going to go ahead and jump in this very fast-flowing river and see if they can get themselves over to a town so they can get back to Narshe. Meet up with their friends, who they've only met Sabin and not the other two. So, oh, well, here comes the first fight for Valder here. Let's see if he picks up Gao. Gao? Ga? Ga. So, Serpent Trench. 4 encounters. We're going to go down to Serpent Trench, get an encounter, and then we're going to hit a left or a right, fork in the road. We're going to want to go right, get another encounter, go through a cave, take a left, and then 2 more encounters. And hope that we don't get any real bad encounters here. So, looking good for Netara right now. Valder not having a very fun fight on the belt, but did manage to gold his Phantom Train split, so he's looking pretty good right now as well. So, unfortunate fight here. She ended up with a pincer attack. So, what Netara's going to want to do here is go ahead and kill that enemy on the right. So, remember that little thing about the Gao being unable to control himself? We don't want him attacking the top left enemy, which I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it has a very nasty counterattack, which is also unfortunate that he is now stopped as well. So, looking a little dicey for Netara, but luckily Sabin runs away, which is good. The Aspic, that's what it is called. It is called the Aspic. So, Valder is actually doing a little bit of work here as well. So, if either one of your party members is dead, Ga will not show up, which is unfortunate as well. So, a little bit of a dicey situation here, but she should be able to get away pretty well. Yep. While Valdercorn is still looking for his buddy Ga. Unfortunately, he won't show up in a pincer attack. This should be the last encounter for Netara. Save it. Save him, please. There we go. Good job, Save it. Going to end up at the town. A town that will actually take them over to Narshe right now, but we're going to make a quick stop. So back at the beginning of the scenario, I said that there are some items that we can pick up that's going to make our lives a lot easier. So what we're going to go ahead and pick up is we're going to go pick up this mithril pike, an extra mithril pike, and sell this black belt for some extra money, always good. And then we're going to pick up the almighty smoke bombs, and there he is. There's our boy on Valdercorn's stream. Go ahead and use the dry meat on him, because using it on yourself does not really help. So, smoke bombs let us escape battles, pincers or otherwise, by using it. It uses up 1 smoke bomb, but it's going to make the other 2 scenarios very, very safer. So, there we go. We're on our ship, and we're on our way, and that will be the end of Sabin's scenario. Meanwhile, Valdercorn is go ahead and dancing along with Ga. Good buddy G-Man. So we're going to go ahead and move over to the lock scenario. So the lock scenario is a little bit involved. We have to go ahead and steal some clothes, save some people. He's stuck in South Figaro. So it's going to be, hope everyone's comfy with some corn right now. Or popcorn anyway. So we're going to go ahead and move Locke down 1 road. Equip him with all his stuff. Put on the sprint shoes. Preparations for everything. And we're going to go ahead and run through the town. Netara, what are you doing? Netara, what are you doing? Psych. We're just going to go ahead and clip through this guy and move on. So. A little bit of item manipulation, or inventory management. She's going to move the smoke bombs to the top because they are going to be used a lot. Quite a bit. She's going to go ahead and save. And then move it because we have Locke by ourselves here. And if we get a pincer attack, we will probably be in trouble. So safety saving is always good. Also, well, more Kappas in the stream, please. We got more Kappas on the screen. So, going to see a lot of these fights for Locke, and we're just going to want to either run away if it's a preemptive immediately or use our smoke bombs. So, remember that antidote we picked up back at the Returner's Cave? It's going to come in handy now, because we don't want to walk around here with poison, because we will most surely die. So, go ahead and do that, and then continue on. So, we're going to take a little detour here and pick up a very important item, because we have Locke by himself, and I don't think Locke by himself, without a little bit of help, can take on the boss. Go ahead and walk around here. Ooh, a little nasty back attack. We should be alright. We are close enough, I believe. Netara might safety heal. Yeah, she's going to take a safety heal here just to be safe. That will remove the poison as well. So Tunnel Armor is a very interesting boss. We're actually supposed to have another person, a ghost person with us that was talking to us, but luckily for us, we pick up the Thunder Rod. The Thunder Rod, when used as an item, will cast a level 2 version of the spell of the element that it is. So in this case, it's going to cast a Thunder element spell. But another funny thing about it is it pierces defense. It doesn't really care about your magic defense, so it's going to do a lot of damage and take out the Tunnel Armor very nicely. Thundara is what it's called. It's been changed quite a bit sometimes throughout the ages. Final Fantasy IV has named it Lit 1, 2, 3, 4. This game, Lit, Thundara, Bolt 2. Yeah, a bunch of different names. So, we finish up Locke's scenario and we're going to go ahead and move on to Terra scenario here, which, remember that rule about Bannon? Yeah, that rule still is in place. So if Bannon dies, we game over very quickly. So we're just gonna go ahead and escape from all these fights with all those smoke bombs that we picked up. While meanwhile, Valdercorn is moving through the Serpent Trench. Is looking pretty good. He has 2 more encounters left. We're going to go ahead and move in the Narshe with Terra here. Where do we run when we're on top of the raft? It's a really big raft. So we run to the other side and the enemies go, oh, they're gone, and then they just leave it alone. So we're going to go ahead and go through this secret entrance that we escaped from the first time, and here, this is the culmination of our run as we return to Narshe. So, we're just going to go ahead and run through this cave real quick, and we're going to meet up with the people of Narshe to see if we can get some help here. Because the Esper's still up in the mountains, and we want that Esper to help us. So, we're going to be doing a little shopping on the other side here, while Netara works her way through Narshe. And then Valdercorn is just going to go ahead and finish up the saving scenario here. Don't worry, we won't be frying anyone's brain. There's no crown on her. What could possibly go wrong? But first we have to go ahead and go through the security checkpoint. So it's going to expect us to go ahead and follow the light to get to the other side. But we're really bad at following directions, so we're going to walk up. And if you press A immediately as you walk into the light, it will automatically disable the security thing for you. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Valder's setting up the clip here for Locke. First try, very good. getting some lucky preemptives here on Netara's side. Let's keep an eye on the both of them. Good old smoke bombs will get us out of our hairy situations over there. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and run away from fights on this side. Very good. So, a lot of smoke bombing going on right now. There's a lot of enemies, and we don't want to fight them. We're in a rush to meet this Esper. Friends, as we finish this scenario, we are coming to the end of our run. For those who may not know, the Kefka at Narshe tournament is a shorter run of the Final Fantasy 6. Different types of runs. There's 100%, but this one is for those who like a slightly shorter run. So when we actually reach Kefka, this is when we're going to finish it. We're going to fight him, and once we're done, that will be the end of the run. So we will see how that turns out for Terra and Netara. So luckily, we get one more interesting part coming up, which will be another defend the character minigame. We'll call it a minigame where we're going to set up 3 parties, and we're going to want to walk up to Kefka and beat him up, because the idea is we go to Kefka, we beat him up, and that will clear the minigame for us. So all our friends managed to make it back to Narshe. A-okay. So, if you remember at the beginning of the game we had this, and the same rules apply. We are able to walk past soldiers by when they have a certain animation, which is their foot up, and we can walk by them without actually triggering their encounter. Which will be very important, because there's going to be one slightly annoying soldier that may be getting in our way, and hopefully neither of our runners will be running into that. Everyone's arguing about what to do, and here comes the Empire. Here comes Kefka. He wants that Esper, and he wants it bad. Valdercorn coming into the Terra scenario now, so he's going to be smoke bombing a lot. But here we go with our walk up to the mountains, and a couple of very interesting scenes here. For those who may not know, we didn't pick up Celis, so the game doesn't really know what to do, because once we pick up Celis, it's supposed to put Celis in the spot of the memory spot of where the Mogs are. But if we don't pick her up, the Mog is still there. So we have General Kutan here. Little did anyone know the Moogle was really the culprit the entire time. Here we go, we're prepared. We're going to skip this tutorial because they like to throw tutorials at us, and we're going to set up our party. We're going to put Terra in one party, Cyan in the other, with Sabin, Edgar, Gal, and we will have Kutan in the third party. So, 3 guesses of what we'll be doing here. And once again, the game. I dare anyone to name an antagonist in the Final Fantasy series that has a more iconic laugh than Kefka. we're going to go ahead and switch over to our big party here. And we're going to go ahead and avoid all of these soldiers. I said antagonist. Titus doesn't count. So here we have that annoying soldier here, and Netara gets through it very nicely. So here we have the Kefka fight. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple of fun little things here. We're going to be aura bolting in. We're going to be using the rage command. We're going to dispatch, and we're going to be attacking with our buddy Edgar. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to weight trick one of the aura bolts, one or two of the aura bolts, depending on how the fight goes. So Kefka doesn't get his third turn, which he can cast a very nasty Ice 2 attack on the entire party. So, yes, that is correct. Netara is at the last fight right now, so provided everything goes as planned. She should be finishing up very quickly here. Meanwhile, Valdercorn is finishing up with the Terra scenario and will be finishing up his run. And Netara clocks in with an SRL time of 1:37.16. So, GG's to Netara. Netara will be taking this match. She should be finishing up very quickly here. Meanwhile, Valdercorn is... So, let's go ahead and switch over to audio here. So, GG's to Netara. Congratulations on your win. If Netara would like, we can go ahead and bring you in for an after race interview if you would like. We'll just finish up with Valder here in a little bit. He's going to go ahead and do his
Hope you swapped over my audio, because here I am.
I've already swapped over your audio. I am on the ball.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about your run?
Really good. It wasn't a PB, but I felt I did really well. First time actually getting the Ultros quick kill in an actual official run. So that was definitely really cool.
Yes, we saw that. It was a very, very clean Ultros kill. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I was super happy about it, I gotta say.
Yep, so looking at your splits here, I see that you golded your Vargas and golded your Ultros as well.
Yes, I did. I actually got the grind done before Vargas and was able to skip the last two fights because I was still on step route, so that was very nice.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
We were very excited. It was a very good race. Valdercorn's actually finishing up now. He's on.
I see him there.
Yep. So he was actually on your tail for quite a bit of this race.
Oh, nice. I know there were a couple points around the middle where I started either making silly mistakes or a couple times I just had terrible RNG. Like, I was almost out of potions at one point. I was like, don't you dare use that last one, Netara. You need that.
Mm-hmm. We saw that your buddy Shadow took a dirt nap on the Magitech armor.
Yeah, which wasn't, you know what, if he was going to take a dirt map, that was probably the best time for him to do it, honestly. Because I was like, it'll take a little bit longer, but it's safe.
Right. So we saw that, some unfortunate pincers and some time loss on the second half, but it was a very clean and good run with plenty of safety saves. Mind you, everyone should be safety saving.
Yes, safety save, guys. I did say suplex the train. Please, Holy Smith. I made sure to do that. My run is valid, thank you.
This is a no troll zone. It was a validated run. We called it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your run is still technically validated if you're in second place. You don't have to suplex the train if you're in second place.
You know what? I actually did not even look at the race until I got to the cutscene in Narshe where all the 3 scenarios ended. That was the first time I even looked. I was too busy focusing. I'm really easily distracted when I run. So I was like, I am not even taking the chance. I could be way ahead. I could be way behind. It doesn't matter. But once I got to the cutscene, I was like, well, it's not going to make much of a difference at this point. Let's check and see where I am. And I saw that I was pretty decently ahead. So I kept being like, don't mess up. Don't mess up. As long as you don't mess up now, you're fine. But I saved still just to be safe.
Very good. You were also saying before the race that while you're in these high pressure situations, your hands get really cold. How are your hands right now?
They're freezing. They are like literal ice and kind of clammy. Not as bad as they could be mined, but yeah, they're super cold. I'm still wearing arm warmers. It's pretty funny, actually.
All right, that's very good. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Valdercorn's fight here. He's going to wait trick the Aura Bolt. Very good. And then
Yeah, hopefully he'll get it first turn, unlike me.
yeah, his Scion actually has his level 3 sword tech. I looked at it. I was there like, oh wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you must have got some extra levels. I don't even, honestly, I don't even remember what the 3rd level is.
I didn't realize there was a 3rd level, but for him, he wasn't on step route, so.
Gotcha. I wasn't on it the whole time, but I was on it a bunch.
Okay, but he's looking really good right now. Minus
Yeah.
his critical.
Getting some beautiful. Oh, wow, Kefka getting a crit, but Edgar's still living, so that is very nice.
Yep, and Valdercorn clocks in with an SRL time of 1:36:23. GG's to Valdercorn.
That was fabulous.
Yep.
I can't wait to see the end here on stream. Yeah, don't think you've won.
Yep. It looked like he improved his time. Yes, he did improve. He did PB on this race. Congratulations to him.
It was really interesting because SRL here says I got a 5-minute SRL PB, but I've done an SRL recently which was also better than that.
I am currently sending him a message right now. Don't mind me. I have to mute myself when I type sometimes because I have a very clickety-clackety keyboard.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mine's not too bad, and my mic's pretty particular, so.
So, we will see if we get Valdercorn in here in a second. It was a very wonderful race. It was very exciting.
Yeah, like I say, I was happy with it, even just, not even just winning. Hey, Valdercorn, welcome!
Hi.
GG,
Welcome.
man.
So. Yeah, I botched the beginning of that entirely.
I honestly did not catch any of your runs, so Scratch Dragon will have to...
Yeah, so just a couple of questions. How do you feel after your run?
Me, I feel silly because I made such a rookie mistake of dropping down before Terra was even level 6.
Yes, because you weren't on step route, I couldn't confirm that, but that would explain some of the trouble that you had at the beginning of the game. And then the extra encounters that you had before you had to fight Vargas.
And I think, honestly, we've all done that, but it's definitely terrible to have it happen in a race.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, it happens. I still managed to make up a lot of time, and it learned me a few things.
Yep. So,
partly because of the fact that...
No, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was noticing that because I'd gotten an extra level on Terra there as well from one of the fights that I took on the river, it actually bumped, I think, Sion's level up 1. Because he had the 3rd level sword tech when he normally doesn't.
Yes,
we saw that.
We were talking about that, and I was there like, wait, he has a 3rd sword tech?
What? No. I thought he only has 2.
Oh, 2's that all that matters. So, we saw that you PB'd. That was a PB by how much? I didn't catch the original time that you had.
That was only like 10 or 12 seconds.
Hey, that's still 10 or 12 seconds, yeah.
So, congratulations. For anyone that is asking, he is not out of the tournament yet. He goes down into the 0-1 bracket, while Netara will be moving on to the 1-0 bracket. But we still have...
I'm terrified about that.
You'll be Fine.
Yes, I totally will. But yeah, we're doing cis bracket style, so that means the first round is all completely random, but from there you will only compete against people of your same ranking. So 1 win, 0 loss will go against 1 win, 0 loss, and continue up until all of the 4 wins, 0 losses will proceed up to the next round. And I think it's the 3-1s will, some of them will progress automatically and some of them will have to do a qualifier to see whether they progress. So anyone below that gets to GG and they had a good time.
Yep.
So it's definitely interesting way to go.
Lomi, my homie, that is a wonderful pun. Terrified.
Right. So do you want to tell us about what races are coming up, Scratch Dragon?
Oh, well, luckily for you guys, I will be hosting another race right here. It will be Essentia versus Ketosef. I hope I pronounced that correctly. That's coming up in 20 minutes on my channel, actually. So if you guys want...
You guys don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
Essentia, she's a long-time runner of this, so you definitely want to see that.
Yep, Essentia is... we'll say she is one of the original Final Fantasy VI runners, and you definitely want to see her race. She is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she runs like full category as well. So it's Kidosef has a lot of work to do. Let's put it that way. I don't envy that pairing whatsoever.
Well,
Oh, that fight is definitely an uphill battle.
yeah, it's an uphill battle, but we'll see what Ketosef can pull out. You guys definitely don't want to miss that. Once again, that is going to be in the next 20 minutes. It's going to be 8 o'clock on twitch.tv/ScratchDragon. So if you guys want to catch
So if you're here already, stay here.
Yep. I'm actually going to bring down the stream for a little bit so I can go ahead and set up for her. So, Essentia is in the call or in the chat, and she is getting ready right now. So, guys, stick around. Come back in 20 minutes. Go grab a drink. I know this was a long race, but you don't want to miss this next race. So, from me, Scratch Dragon, you guys should also follow the runners. 1 second here. I have a handy-dandy command for the chat that will get it right. I believe that is correct for both your Twitch channels. You guys should definitely give both of these guys a follow, and you definitely should be back for the next race.
And definitely give Scratch Dragon a follow, both for his restream and his likely super awesome commentary. We commentated a race earlier today, and it was fabulous. So
thank you very
definitely
much.
give him a follow.
Yep. So, guys, I will see you in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I will be back in 10 minutes, hopefully, with the streams up. But we will be back in 20 minutes. So
don't go anywhere, guys.
From us at the Kefka at Narshe race, this is Scratch Dragon, that's Valdercorn and Netara, and we'll be signing off for a little bit.
Bye!
See ya.